In chemistry, this chapter is quite simple. I must say that it is short. Syllabus is also very short. There are two types of compounds: electrovalent and covalent compounds. What are electrovalent compounds? The compound formed due to sharing of due to transfer of electron from one atom to the other atom. Such compounds are called electrovalent compounds. The compound formed due to transfer, not sharing, due to transfer of electron from one atom to the other atom. It is called electrovalent bond. Electrovalent compounds are formed between one metal atom and one non-metal atom, because metal atoms will have excess number of electrons, it will lose, and the non-metal will have shortage of electrons or deficiency of electrons, it will gain. So as a result, they form a bonding, and that bonding is called electrovalent bonding, and the compound form is called chemical bond. Electrovalent compound. The name of the compound is electrovalent compound. What are the examples of electrovalent compound? NaCl. You have these three in the syllabus, mainly NaCl. Then you have calcium oxide. Then you have MgCl2. One metal, one non-metal. One metal, one non-metal. One metal, non-metal. These are the example of electrovalent compounds. Okay, those electrovalent compounds which are soluble in water and they form ion when they are dissolved in water, they are called ionic compounds. They have ability of forming ions. I think in electrolysis chapter you have done quite a lot. NaCl in molten state forms ion. They are ionic compounds. All those electrolysis, they are ionic compounds. Like we have done the electrolysis of copper sulfate. We did the electrolysis of nickel sulfate. We did the electrolysis of silver nitrate and sodium silver cyanide. They all are example of ionic compounds. That means all ionic compounds are electrovalent compounds, but all electrovalent compounds are not ionic, because there are quite many compounds which will not give ions when you dissolve in water. So they are only the electrovalent compounds, but not the ionic compounds. Just keep in mind. Okay, now they will ask you draw electron dot diagram to show the formation of this compound. NaCl, this compound, CaO and MgCl2. Why 2 and why 1? I think you know most of you. How is the compound NaCl formed? I do electron dot diagram on that. Sodium contains one electron in the last one, we keep it here. Cl is chlorine, will contain 7 electrons in the last orbit, group 7. This will transfer will show by the arrow. This is transferring one electron to the chlorine atom. That means this will lose one electron, so it will get one positive charge. The other one gains one electron, will get one negative charge. This positive, this negative will attract each other with a strong force of attraction, and they will form a compound NaCl. So NaCl is quite a strong compound. So only by means of electrolysis we can separate Na and Cl. So this is the formation of NaCl compound using the electron dot diagram. Electron dot diagram and electron dot structure. Normally cross will be dot and cross. Cross one we use for metal and dot will be using for non-metal. It is a normal tradition. Okay. Next one, calcium oxide. How do we show? Calcium oxide, formation of calcium. Calcium will have 2 electrons in the last orbit. So we show 2. Oxygen has 7. This will transfer both the electrons to the oxygen. So calcium is transferring 2 electrons, right, on top plus 2. Oxygen is gaining 2 electrons, minus 2. Ultimately the compound CO is formed. So that's how we show the formation. Then MgCl2. MgCl, magnesium chloride formation. How do we do? That Mg, that is, there are 2 atoms of chlorine. We show 2 atoms here. One chlorine here, one chlorine there. With 7 each. That is. This will transfer 1 electron to this atom and 1 electron to this atom. This is also complete, this is also complete. Then we had Mg plus 2, and each chlorine atom, there are 2 here, and each one is gaining 1 electron. We had on top minus 1. So ultimately it becomes MgCl2. So this electron dot diagram is there in the syllabus, dot cross diagram. So of these three compounds only 11 syllabus. They may ask you for 2 marks or for 1 mark, they may ask you. Draw electron dot diagram to show the formation of NaCl or to show the formation of NaCl. Any one of these, you will show like this. And what kind of type of compound it is? It is electrovalent. One metal, one non-metal. Metal is losing electron and non-metal is gaining. So this is how the compounds are formed. It is clear? Okay, thank you. Now coming to covalent compounds. Covalent. What are covalent compounds? We say the compounds which are formed due to sharing of electrons between the atoms. Due to sharing of electrons, not the transfer, but the sharing of electrons between the two atoms are called covalent compounds. Covalent compounds are formed generally between two non-metallic atoms, and it is formed between one hydrogen atom and one some other non-metal atom, because hydrogen always shares the electron. Hydrogen cannot transfer the electron. If hydrogen has got only one electron, if hydrogen transfers the electron, nothing will be left with it. So hydrogen always shares one electron with the other atom. So any compound starting with hydrogen or hydrogen compound, they all will be covalent. So there are two types of covalent compounds, non-polar and polar. I think in the notes also I have given it. What are non-polar covalent compounds? We say the compounds which are formed due to sharing of equal number of electrons between the two atoms. Equal number of electrons will be shared between the two. They are called non-polar. And the other side, the compound which are formed due to sharing of unequal number of electrons. Okay. Non-polar compounds are symmetrical in nature. That means you may have H2, one hydrogen atom, another also hydrogen atom. One nitrogen atom, another nitrogen atom. One oxygen atom, another oxygen atom. One chlorine atom, another also chlorine atom. So same kind of atom. Whereas polar covalent compounds are formed between two asymmetrical atoms. Two different type of atoms. Yes, two different type of atoms. Non-polar compounds are electrically charged. Here the charge separation takes place. There no charge separation takes place in the non-polar side. And polar side, charge separation takes place. So they are slightly electrically charged. And non-polars are neutral. So they are not charged. Now we can say that non-polar covalent compounds, they do not contain lone pair of electrons, and polar covalent compounds contain lone pair of electrons. I will discuss about the lone pair of electrons soon after. Okay. So what are the examples of non-polar covalent compounds? Examples are covalent compounds, or we call it molecules. Examples are H2, then Cl2, then O2, oxygen, then N2, etc. Like this. Hydrogen, they may also show the formation of H2 molecule, how the hydrogen molecule formed. So we write one hydrogen, one more hydrogen here. Hydrogen has got one electron. It will not transfer, rather it will share. The sharing will show by this Venn diagram. One electron shared between them, because 1 plus 1 become 2, then hydrogen outermost shell is complete. Both the hydrogen atoms outermost shell is complete by sharing one electron with each other. It becomes as H dash, a single bond will be, because they are sharing one electron, and it becomes H2. The number of electrons shared between them is called covalency. So what is the covalency of hydrogen molecule? We say 1. Covalency value is 1, or this is the one with a single covalency. Name a covalent compound with single covalency, we say hydrogen. Single bonding. Covalency means bondings, and bonding is the number of electrons shared between the two atoms. Number of electrons shared. Similarly, if I write Cl2, chlorine molecule shows Cl, again one more Cl, like this, 7, one electron we keep in front of each other because 7 plus 1 become 8. 7 plus 1 becoming 8. There also 7 plus 1 becoming 8. They are again sharing one electron with each one. Cl, single bonding Cl we write. Ultimately it becomes Cl2, chlorine. Here also the covalency is 1. Or the number of bonding between the two atoms is 1, single. O2. O2 always show one oxygen, one more oxygen. Oxygen has got 6 electrons. Then 2 it needs to share. So 2 electrons we keep here, 2 electrons we keep here. And remaining 4 will keep here. 2 here, 2 up and down, like equally distribution will do. Like this. 6 plus 2 becomes 8. Here also 6 plus 2 becoming 8. They are sharing 2 electrons of each atom. So O, double bond O is becoming O. Like this. So what is the covalency of oxygen molecule? We said 2. Or number of bondings between them 2. Name a covalent compound with a double covalent bonding. The answer is oxygen. Or with a double covalency, so oxygen. Now nitrogen. We will check in the nitrogen. Nitrogen will be written as N. Again N. Nitrogen has got 5 electrons in the last orbit. Then it needs to share 3 electrons because 5 plus 3 become 8. You keep 3 electrons in front of each other. 3 electrons keep in front. 2 electrons you can keep here, 2 you can keep here. 5 plus 3 becoming 8. 5 plus 3 here. Here also it becomes 8. That means we are sharing 3 electrons of each. Triple bonding. The answer becomes 10. So nitrogen is quite important one. So nitrogen has got triple bonding. Or its covalency is 3. Name a covalent compound with the triple covalency. The answer is nitrogen. Yes? Yeah? Any questions? Any doubts? Okay, good. These are the examples of which category of covalent compounds? Non-polar. All these examples are non-polar. These are the electron bond diagram of non-polar compound is showing the covalency or showing the number of electrons being shared. Okay. Next, I will do about the polar covalent compounds. Polar. You can see the notes all given there. Polar covalent compounds. Polar covalent compounds. So 1 minute, please. Okay. So now I will talk about the polar covalent compounds. The example of polar covalent compounds are water, the example of polar covalent compounds are H2O, NH3 and HCl. These are the 3 examples of polar covalent compounds. Okay, in water, how to show water H2O formation of H2O molecule. Is it heavy? Others, do you think that it's heavy? Is it? Okay, H2O molecule, formation of H2O molecule, it is somewhat like, electrolytic compound type, okay, because here also the charge separation takes place. First we write here H with the single electron plus oxygen, we write here again hydrogen with the plus. 1 electron, hydrogen needs to share, keep 1 electron here, 1 electron you keep here, and hydrogen has got 1 electron, and the remaining electrons you keep it here, 2 to 4 to 6. Now, this oxygen being electronegative in nature, electronegative is a tendency to attract the electron to itself. This will, oxygen electron will not go, rather hydrogen electrons will be attracted along with the hydrogen atom here. It becomes like this, H, O, H, hydrogen electron will come over here, that means it will become like this. Hydrogen electron comes here, and these 2 electrons remain unshared like this. So this electron will encircle like this way. And we call it lone pair of electrons. How many lone pair of electrons we have? 2 lone pair water, and we show the formation of water molecule in this manner. Now ammonia, second one is ammonia, NH3. One nitrogen, three hydrogen. So somewhat like this, we take hydrogen first with single electron plus nitrogen here, again one more hydrogen here with a single electron and a plus again hydrogen here with a single electron, and nitrogen has got 5 electrons got together. Keep one electron in front of each side here, and the 2 hydrogen we keep it here. Hydrogen will be of nitrogen's more electronegative will be attracted. So that this hydrogen will come here along with this electron like this. And this will remain unshared. So it has one lone pair, let one lone pair of electrons. One lone pair. Name a polar covalent compound with a single lone pair of electrons. The answer is ammonia. With 2 lone pair of electrons, the answer is H2O, water. Now you can see HCl, same way. H with single electron plus Cl like this 7 will keep 1 electron in front of this. Then HCl is the most electron negative among this period will be attracting this. The hydrogen will come in, hydrogen electron will come here like this, and this will be unshared electrons like this. So 3 lone pairs. 3 lone pairs of electrons. 2 lone pairs, 1 lone pair and 3 lone pair of electrons. The unshared electrons of polar covalent compounds are called lone pairs. Lone pair of electrons. Okay? Yes? Your response? So question becomes usually example type. Name a covalent compound, or what is the name given to a covalent compound with lone pair of electrons? Lone pair of electrons only polar covalent compounds will have. So what is the name of the covalent compound? We say polar covalent. It is there in your copy. You can see that also. I think I have sent the notes. It is there in the notes also. I am just explaining now. Okay. Are you copying from the board or notes? You have already done it. I have already sent you the notes. I have it. Now. Okay. Now the next part is formation of ions. So you got 3 ions formation in this way. Formation of hydronium ion. Formation of hydronium ion. Formula of hydronium ion is H3O plus 1. This is called hydronium ion. And acid forms hydronium ions when dissolved in water. I think you know that is the definition of acid. How is the hydrogen ion formed? Hydrogen ion is formed when water H2O plus H will become H3O. The first we show water here like this. Water like this with the lone pairs. Now, okay, this is water we are drawing with the 2 lone pairs. Plus we do hydrogen plus 1 is the ion we want. So we will be using hydrogen ions, that is hydrogen plus 1 ion. So, and that ion will keep in front of the lone pair of electrons, in front of the lone pair ion. So now what happens? This H, O, H, like this. This lone pair will be attracting an ion. This will be attracting an ion, or when it attracts an ion, we show it by the arrow. When lone pair is accepting or attracting an ion, so we show it by the arrow mark, and this is called coordinate bond. Arrow shows coordinate bonding. And here we will be writing H, and the ion of this one will come on top of it. So this is how the hydronium ion is formed. Here we write equal to H3O plus 1 like this. This is how the hydrogen ion is formed. This arrow is known as coordinate bond. Coordinate bond. What is the coordinate bond? The coordinate bond is formed and it is denoted by arrow when a lone pair of electron attracts an ion. This is the electron negatively charged, they are getting the positive ion. So the bonding form is called coordinate bond. So that means water is an example of covalent and coordinate bond. It is already covalent because it is belonging to the category of polar covalent, and it has hydronium, and it has got coordinate bond also. So hydronium is the example of covalent coordinate bond, containing coordinate and covalent bond. Okay. Now formation of ammonium NH4 ion is valency plus 1 ammoniums. How is ammonium ion formed? It is formed from ammonia and hydrogen. So we will be showing this ammonia is N, hydrogen here like this, lone pair here plus hydrogen ion like the same way. This lone pair will be attracting the electron and changing into the coordinate bonding. And it's H, arrow. Lone pair is attacking the ions plus 1. Ultimately it becomes NH4 plus 1 like this. So this is how the ammonium ion is formed. So how to show the formation of hydroxyl ion? Hydroxyl ion. Hydroxyl ion formula is OH minus 1. So this one is formed by this method. First we add H2O like this, and one lone pair, another lone pair like this. This will be changing into hydrogen ion plus OH minus ion like this. If you combine H plus OH becomes H2. So this is how hydroxyl ions are formed. This OH you can add in this side. H you can bring this side to become minus, or we show H on the other side. So anyone you can express, you can show. After that you have to know name a compound which contains all the three bondings, means ionic, covalent and coordinate bonding. So there is only one such element, and the answer is NH4Cl. Ammonium chloride is a compound which contains all the three bonding, ionic is electrovalent, all the ionic compounds are electrovalent, ionic, covalent and coordinate bonding it has. Why ionic? Because it forms ions, ammonium ion and chloride ion. And why it is coordinate and covalent? Because it contains ammonium, and ammonium radical is formed by coordinate bonding, and it is of course that ammonium is formed by ammonia. So ammonia is having ammonia is a covalent compound. So it has all the three bonding. Example is NH4Cl. This is important one. Name a compound which contains all the three bondings. The answer is ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride. Here, did you see? Are you able to see? Okay. Now the last part of this chapter, you have to know, and I have given also the difference between electrovalent compounds and covalent compounds. And little logic is also there. Electrovalent compounds are generally hard crystalline solids, and covalent compounds are generally liquid or gases. Why they are hard crystalline solids? Due to the strong force of attraction between the atoms. positive and negative. So positive attracts negative with a strong force, that is electrical force or electrostatic force, that is very, very strong. Whereas in a covalent compound, shearing takes place. That means the force of attraction is quite weak, and the force of attraction between them is called van der Waals force. Van der Waals, VANDERWAAL, van der Waals force between the covalent compounds. The van der Waals force is not due to positive and negative charge. It can act between two type of electrons also. So, but the van der Waals force is quite weak as compared to the electrical one. So that's why they are generally, you can just mention, because covalent compounds have weak force of attraction. So they are generally liquid or gases. Electrovalent compounds are non-volatile. Because of the strong force, they will not change easily into vapor. Whereas covalent compounds are volatile in nature. Electrovalent compounds have high melting and high boiling point. Reason is same, because it has a strong force. And covalent compounds have low melting point and low boiling point. Electrovalent compounds are generally good conductor of electricity, and covalent compounds are generally bad conductor of electricity, unless it is a polar covalent, but it is a weak conductor of electricity. It will not conduct electricity. It is not that it will conduct electricity, but weak conductor of electricity with a small quantity. Then electrovalent compounds are soluble in water but insoluble in organic solvents. Why they are soluble in water? Because the presence of water weakens the electrical force between positive ion and negative ion. When we add water, the water has the strength of weakening the electrical force but not the van der Waals force. That's why these compounds are soluble in water. Because when we add water, the force becomes weak, so they get separated and rather they get dissolved in water. Whereas the covalent compounds are insoluble in water, because water cannot decrease or cannot weaken the van der Waals force. So the compound does not get separated and does not dissolve in water. Electrovalent compounds are soluble in water but insoluble in organic solvents, whereas covalent compounds are soluble in organic solvents but insoluble in water. So that is what the point of difference is. They will ask 1 or 2 marks question. Sometimes they may ask you the reason also. The reason you can say that it has got a strong force, electrovalent one, and the other side they have got weak van der Waals force. If you can remember, van der Waals is okay, otherwise you just say weak force of attraction, van der Waals force between their molecules. Van der Waals force does not act with the two different kind of charges. Two different kind of charges, electrical force acts, or electrostatic force, which is very, very strong as compared to the van der Waals force. So this chapter syllabus is only this much. Do you have any questions? Any point you want to clarify?